I handmade this map of every single hurricane to make landfall in the United States since our records began in 1851. There are a little more than 300 hurricane landfalls listed on this map, including from our most recent 2024 hurricane season. Now zooming in a lot closer, you can see just how many hurricanes have struck the US Gulf Coast just within the last 173 years, and it gets even crazier when you just look at the state of Florida alone. Now, to many, it probably comes as no surprise that Florida is home to the most amount of hurricane strikes in the U.S., including the most amount of Category 5s. Florida features 3 of the 4 that have ever made landfall in the U.S., including Michael in 2018. You can see it up there on the panhandle. Andrew next to Miami in 1992. And the most powerful of all, the 1935 Labor Day hurricane, which struck on the outer Florida Keys. Now, the 1935 Labor Day hurricane is the strongest hurricane to ever strike the United States, an absolute monster, making landfall on the Keys with winds of 185 miles per hour and a pressure of 892 millibars. An absolute monster, but more on that hurricane in a later video. Now, as you go further north across the U.S. East Coast, you notice this fascinating drop-off in the mid-Atlantic where there's virtually no hurricane landfalls. So why is that? Well, it all has to actually do with geography. Hurricanes, once they reach this latitude, tend to curve out to sea thanks to things like a cold front or the jet stream. Hurricanes certainly do make it up to this latitude. However, thanks to the shape of the coastline, which is more north-south, it's really hard to get a hurricane landfall in the mid-Atlantic. Now, that's not to say that the mid-Atlantic doesn't get impacted by hurricanes, but if they do, it'll likely come from inland after making landfall in North Carolina. Going even further north into the U.S. Northeast, and it becomes pretty evident how crucial geography is to hurricane landfalls. New England has a decent west-east coastline, and because of that, they've actually seen a handful of hurricanes in the past, including a few major hurricanes as well. Now, as you'd probably expect, the water in New England does start to get pretty cold, so only a select few hurricanes have made landfall since 1851, including 2 in Maine. Now, there is quite a few oddities in this map, and one of them comes from Maine. Hurricane 10 in 1869 and Hurricane Gerda in 1969. 2 landfalls, the only 2 in the state, exactly 100 years apart. That's pretty interesting. Now, in total, this map took me 3 entire days of nonstop plotting using the official database from the National Hurricane Center, which goes back to 1851. Now, if you want to learn more about this map, how it was made, the process, and especially more oddities like the one in Maine, you can follow my Twitter above. I continue to post hurricane-related things, including building off of this map from time to time.